Hey guys, so I got this request kind of a long time ago. I had an old video on how to paint hooves, and I felt that it was time to update the information and the overall how to do hooves. So I don't have any gray hooves here on this horse, but I may turn some of it gray, especially if I want to add some spots on her leg. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through the list here of things you're going to need for painting your hooves and so forth. So depending on what color your hooves are, you may need several colors of acrylic paint. You're going to need either like a beige color. This is called country tan. Weird name for a color, but it's more on the beigey side than anything, which is good. You could go with like a sandy color, such as let's see, what color is this one? This color is beige. What do you know? So there's this color. Most of the colors that you can use, there's this color, which is this color doesn't even tell me. Oh, that's great. Oh, light mohawk. Oh wait, no, light mocha. Sorry. So yeah, anything that's more on the sandy, tan, beigey color is perfectly fine. If you're doing gray hooves, you're going to need black and white. You're going to need white in general. Another thing you're going to need, sorry guys, got some mucus going on my throat. You're going to need some glazing medium. This you won't be able to pick up at Walmart. It's acrylic based. Basically, it's like a glossy medium, and what you do is you can mix it with like another color and it thins it out. You don't actually want to use water when thinning out for striping, and I'll explain why when we get to that point. So yeah, so you're gonna need some brushes, lots of different sizes, your preference. I've got round brushes, flat brushes, tiny brushes. And then you're also going to need, oh, let me see here, where to go. You're going to need a light pencil, a dark pencil, brown of course, and then you're going to need, let's see, where'd my white one go? Oh, I don't know, where'd it go? It's weird. It was here a second ago. Okay, the elf took it. Where'd my white one? Okay, so anyways, yeah, you're going to need a white one. If you don't lose it, which I just did. It's gonna be around here somewhere. I'll look for it in a minute. It's probably on the floor. Yep, it's on the floor. Okay, so yeah, we'll worry about that later. Okay, so what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to get your pan that you're gonna use to put your acrylics in, some water. Your first color you're gonna need is tan. So you're just gonna take a little bit, squirt it into your pan. Whoops, I'm not gonna paint over here. You're gonna get your flat brush. You really don't want to use a round brush, because round brushes are kind of something like this pointed round. This is more of a flat round. It's not really like a round brush, but whatever you're more comfortable with is fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start painting the bottom of her hooves first. Okay? Because while her bottom of her hooves are drying, I'll be painting the top of it. So if I had to put her down for whatever reason, you know, and if she may be a horse that you just can't, you know, let lean on its side, especially if it's wet. So that, you know, her bottom of her hose will dry, they won't stick to anything while you're painting the other ones. So paint all the bottom of the horse's hooves. Okay? So we got all of them painted on the bottom. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come back up and we're going to paint the actual hoof itself around the culinary band, around the bulbs of the hoof, which are the back part. I'm going to paint the front of the hoof now, the sides. Now, if you wanted to get really into detailing the horse's hooves. Like if you have a horse that's got like a hoof off the ground like this one, I'll explain how to darken the areas that you may want to promenade. You can also do it on hooves like these, because these ones are actually carved out, which are nice. Some of the horses, like especially the older models, they just have flat. So there's nothing there, you really don't have to worry about it. But it's preference. So we're going to now do this to all the other hooves. And make sure when you're going around the outer side of the hoof that it connects up correctly with the other side. I see people that make a lot of lopsided hooves. They paint them on and they're just not even, like all the way around. You know, not all horses culinary bands are even, but for the model horses, we're going to try to make them look as most, you know, prestige as possible. So, depending on how thick your acrylic paint is, you may actually have to put more than one coat of your sandy color on, depending, you know, on how thick it is. Now, when you wanted to do striping on a horse, most horses can have striping. Usually striping only occurs in light colored hooves. And what the striping is that there's actually dark pigmented skin on the horse's leg, or, you know, you may not see it, especially on my horse. He has got a lot of striping on his feet, okay? And when you get him wet or you give him a bath, you will actually see little dark spots on his legs where the skin is dark and it's caused a dark stripe on the hoof. Now, Appaloosas and paints and, you know, some of the other breeds, they actually require it. I know Appaloosa does. I guess it's a characteristic of the Appaloosa breed is that they have striping on their feet. But, I don't know. It's kind of weird if you ask me. But either way, you may have to put another coat of acrylics on your horse's feet. So the nice thing about acrylics is, you know, of course they do dry relatively quick. And it won't take you 45 minutes, especially if you have like a blow dryer or something, fan, anything. You can just hold your horse up to that and let the hair dryer or whatever dry it off for you. Okay, all right. Okay, so that's good for now. Okay, now, what the next step we're going to have to do is once the hooves dry, we're actually going to go and start adding what I like to call the growth bands, and they are really growth bands. It's where the hoof grows down from the culinary band all the way down. So you actually get like these little lines in the horse's hooves. If you look at a foundered horse, you can see these lines very prominent because the horse is foundered, and it shows the lines very well because of how the horse is standing. The horse, if you look at the horse's leg, the coffin bone should be angled with the horse's hoof. So, you know, if you're looking at this, the coffin bone should be inside there about 45-degree angle. It does depend on the horse though, and it does depend on the farrier and all this other crap. So yeah, but it does depend on the actual horse itself. But the growth bands, they show up because the horse is severely foundered, and the hoof is no longer growing correctly as what it should. So yeah, but that's kind of just a little bit of information there for you. So what we're going to do now is I'm actually going to have to wait for this to dry. We're going to go spray his hooves, let that dry, and then we're going to come back and start working on some detailing of the hooves and so forth, and start getting into striping and, you know, doing stuff like that. So, yeah. But this would basically be the same process for gray hooves. You just paint the hooves gray. Now, a lot of people actually, what they do is they take like light gray. Hooves are actually not light gray. They're more of on the darker sand gray color. So you want to try to add just a teensy bit of sand in there, so it's not just 100% gray. If you look at a lot of horses and their feet are actually clean and there's no debris on it or anything, you'll actually see a little bit of dark brown to it. It's not like 100% gray. And their hooves are not black either. Just don't paint them black. That doesn't work. That's just totally not right. So, yeah. So what we're going to do while this horse is drying is I am going to go and do something and then spray. Okay, guys?